Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. And another heavyweight news mashup video today, starting with Luis Ortiz, the two-time title challenger who's struggling to get an opponent in a return fight coming off a loss to Deontay Wilder in 2019. So his trainer, Herman Caicedo, says everyone sees Ortiz as a problem. He's tall, left-handed, and has good boxing. I knew this was going to be a problem with the best when Luis reached a higher level. That was explained to me by the great Angelo Dundee, who was my teacher. He said if there's a left-hander and a right-hander, even if the right-hander is stronger and better, he will try to avoid the left-hander, and Luis is very uncomfortable to face because he can punch, he knows how to fight, and he has technique. Any other promoter in the world would give up, as Oscar De La Hoya did. But Al Heyman doesn't throw in the towel, and I don't think he'll stop believing in Luis. I'm sure he'll put good fights in front of Luis. We have two fights. We have a date for July and then between November and December, and we'll keep it that way until he decides to retire. He feels strong, refreshed. In the fight against Wilder, he understood what a camp with all the irons means. With a good diet, with vitamins, he's been left with good routines even if we're not in camp. That will allow you to decrease aging. Luis is more dangerous now than before. That is Luis Ortiz's trainer, Herman Caicedo, who is actually talking a rather big game, saying that he's more dangerous now than before and that some of the things that he's doing is decreasing aging. That is wishful thinking on the aging front because Father Time undefeated, but I see what he's doing. He wants to throw Luis Ortiz out there as a legitimate contender still, and he is still a top 10 rated fighter by most fans. So we'll see what happens here, and Ortiz having trouble getting a fight. It's not a huge surprise because a lot of the guys within the PBC stable have been sort of looking the other way. Andy Ruiz Jr. said no, he wanted to tune up before he'd consider an Ortiz fight. Dominic Brazil hasn't even been talking his name, calling out Andy Ruiz Jr. instead, and other guys within PBC and broader within the other stables haven't exactly been calling Luis Ortiz's name. Some of that comes down to he is high risk and comparatively low reward, not exactly a massive ticket seller, although he is a dangerous fighter. Meanwhile, the Chinese heavyweight Gilles Young has been caught up in travel restrictions as a result of coronavirus. So his co-promoter, Dino Duva of Rock Nation, he's told Boxing Scene, we're just waiting and hoping that the travel ban gets lifted in the near future so that he can get his career going again. He's ready to roll. This was going to be his year. We're still hopeful. We just hope he gets back over here as soon as possible. This is where he trains. The training over there, even with what's going on over there, is tough, but he can hardly even leave his apartment in China, so it's a tough situation. I feel really bad for him. The guy just can't catch a break. It's a real shame. Former champions Abner Mares and Sean Porter believe that the Fury-Wilder 3 fight, set to be held in July potentially, is still a 50-50 fight. So speaking on Fox Sports' Inside PBC Boxing, the commentators said, this is Mares first, it sounds like he needs a lot, but he really doesn't, because even Tyson Fury knows this. Wilder has a puncher's chance. That's never going to go away. Little adjustments with the jab, pushing Tyson Fury back. It sounds easier said than done, but he cannot pull back with his head straight up. Little adjustments, that will get the job done. And Porter says offense. The offense has to pick up. He's got to get more in his arsenal ASAP. Better jab, more combinations, and I think he needs to be more aggressive against Tyson Fury. And Porter goes on to add, I'm going to go ahead and say it's a 50-50 fight. The reason I say it's a 50-50 fight is because of what Mares says. He doesn't have to do much to change the outcome of the fight. I think he's that kind of fighter. It's easier said than done, but I still believe it can be done. And Abner Mares went on to add to that, I still think it's a 50-50 fight for the same reason. Wilder needs to be again wild. He can't be something that he's not. Now, what to make of these statements? It really does appear that the hard sell is on for Fury Wilder 3. And some of what they're saying, I mean, maybe that is their opinion, but I think for a lot of boxing fans, after witnessing the second fight, will believe that Tyson Fury would go in a red-hot favourite for the third fight, given his complete dominance over Deontay Wilder, stopping him in 7 rounds. So, yeah, I think this is more sort of hype, and they are basically trying to sell the third fight, which is coming, which they need to do because it will be a Fox Sport pay-per-view with ESPN, and they've got to sell some pay-per-views. And if it's considered an 80-20 fight, for example, that doesn't lend itself to selling the fight. You have to pitch it as a 50-50, that Deontay Wilder is a shot in this fight, more than a shot, that he can beat Tyson Fury. Meanwhile, VADA, the testing agency, has come out on its social media, and this follows what the WBC did a day or so ago. So VADA says, congratulations to Tyson Fury and Bronze Bomber for again successfully completing our program for Tyson Wilder 2. And then they add a whole bunch of people. Hashtag clean sport at the end. So that does confirm that both Fury and Wilder completed the testing in the run-up to their fight. Joyce has been training with MMA star heavyweight Francis Ngannou in the lead up to his fight on April the 11th with Daniel Dubois. So see here on screen, Joyce says 12 rounds in the bank last night with 3 tough guys. Thanks to the UFC's Francis Ngannou for the rounds, big, strong heavyweight. And below it in the comment section, this is on Instagram, someone asked him, how heavy does the big man hit, Joe? And he responds saying, he can hit, strong man. And coming up this weekend, not a lot of action on the heavyweight front, but there is a couple of top-ranked prospects in action. One of them is Sonny Conto, who will be featuring on a card in Pennsylvania, and the other is Jared Anderson. He will be featuring on a card that is in Toledo, Ohio. That's where he's from. And Anderson, he will be facing the 2-6-1 journeyman Lamarco Ellis. Heading into this fight, Anderson, who calls himself a big baby, is 3-0, and on his social media he said, it's officially fight week and I promise you will see the brightest star shine Friday night. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment loud and often, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.